2 Ezra 16:1. Woe be unto thee, Babylon, and Asia. Woe be unto thee, Egypt and Syria. Call halal Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai Bahasham Rakah Quadash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. The 144,000 and the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, among the heathen that look like the heathen, and to the few Akwath that are listening and learning. To you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you with another lesson in truth. And I am going to label this Woe unto Asia. All right. And the reason I'm labeling that because, you know, a lot of brothers, including myself, slip up and say the term Middle East. The Middle East is a made-up term just as much for racial advantages and reasons to support the false narrative of white superiority, which is another way of getting around Esau, Edom. They refer to the Middle East as if it's a whole different continent and as if it's a racial construct within itself, which is a lie. Okay? What they refer to as the Middle East, as you can see, this is a map of Asia. It is in Asia. It's referred to as Western Asia by the Pakistanis, by the Indians, by the Iranians, by Afghanistan. Right? When you watch the news from those places, even Turkey, they refer to it as Western Asia. All right? Because that's exactly what it is. Okay, this is a teacher's map. I have this map in my possession. And on the back side of it, I'll put it in the screen, you can see that it's a learning tool. It has no names on it. When you flip it around, well, you see what you see on the screen. Okay? And so, the land of Israel, let's zoom in on it. The land of Israel, Jordan, Iraq, Syria, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Oman, United Arab Emirates, all sits in Asia. All right? It's Western Asia. Okay? Point blank, period. Have to make that clear. And this is where the end day prophecies are going to play out. Let's see if we can get the whole thing there. That's the entirety of Asia. So from Jerusalem all the way to, see if we can get it on the screen, to Japan. All right? To Russia, up a little bit further where the Bering Strait is. That's all of Asia. Okay? And that's Western Asia. And that's the Far East, and what they refer to the Middle East, all right, which is really a term to support racial superiority and lies, what they constructed to support the false racial constructs. That's where they get that name is. So brothers, please, don't give Esau, Edom any leeway. Refer to it as what it really is. Okay, you know, you try to stop saying the Middle East. It really aggravates me when I watch a video and I hear people say that, especially learned people. It's like, come on, man. We're the men of the Lord. We can do better than this. But that leads me back to this article, because this is an article that St. Benji sent me earlier today. And it's called, let me see. There we go. It's from VOA News, and you see it said Middle East. Well, you can't see it on the screen there. But it says, Iran backs Iraqi call to end the presence of U.S.-led force. Okay? And that makes me think of, of the scriptures. And matter of fact, let me just go to it. In 2 Ezra, the dragons of Arabia. That's in 2 Ezra 15. Let me just jump right to it. I'm going to start at verse 28, and it reads, Behold, an horrible vision, an appearance thereof from the east. See, it didn't say mid-east. It said from the east. Asia is considered the east. All right? It says, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots. You're looking at them now. Okay? Because low key, this picture's kind of raw, man. With all these vehicles, you know, looks like they got all these American-made vehicles that Biden left over there for him. You know, with two snipers in ghillie suits driving under a giant arch with two swords crossing. It's kind of raw as hell, man. I mean, just on a, you know, from that point of view. But it says, Behold, a horrible vision and the appearance thereof from the east, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon the earth, and all which hear them may fear and tremble. All right, because this is going to be a scary sight, especially when they start approaching the land of Israel. Also, the Carmenians raging in wrath shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come and join with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. All right. And the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature, if they shall turn themselves, conspiring together in great power to persecute them. So they're going after, you know, the Amalekites. They're going to do it. All right. Let me, matter of fact, let's shoot over to Genesis real quick. Genesis 16. They should remember their nature. I think it's Genesis 16, 11 and 12. And the angel of Yahweh said unto her, Behold, thou art with child, and shall bear a son, and shall call his name Ishmael, because Yahweh have heard thy affliction, and he will be a wild man. His hand will be against every man, and every man's hand against him, and he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren. They're coming together. And Benjamin Netan, not a Jew, not a J-O-O, all right? His pride and his arrogance and the lack of wisdom from Teman from the west has done this thing. Because he was able to do something that no one has been able to do. So let's read some of this article, all right? It says, Iraqi soldiers drive their armored vehicles under the Victory Arch during a parade marking the Army Day of Baghdad, January 6, 2024. See, man, this year, every day, something epic is happening. You know, this leading us up into the epicenter of Jacob's trouble. Because like Elder Apostle Tahar said, Jacob's trouble has began. This is just the beginning of the storm. And it's going to turn into a raging storm, and it's coming fast. Tehran, Iran, and this was in Tehran. Tehran, Iran, on Monday threw his weight behind calls from neighboring Iraq to oust the U.S.-led anti-jihadi coalition from the territory after the U.S. strike killed the pro-Iran commander in Baghdad. So you have to understand, man, the America's only there for its own, serving its own selfish interests, so that they can remain a superpower and keep the money. It's not there for peace and you know, lawfulness and all this pious things that they like to say. All right? There was no world conflicts and powers until between powers until they went over there. All right? Regarding and NATO was set up to try to contain and control Russia, point blank period, because it was Russia that really won World War II. All right, not America. All right, Russia gave the biggest sacrifice and lost the most people. Okay, but it says regarding Iraq and the actions of the American government took recently, the Iraqi government has clearly announced its position. Foreign Ministry spokesman Nasir Kanani told the press conference Iran is confident that its neighbor has the ability, strength, and authority necessary to maintain security on its territory alone, Kanani said. We have repeatedly expressed our views to the authorities of the countries of the region, including Iraq, and declared that the presence of American forces in any form whatsoever would not help maintain the stability and peace. He said, and from what I've seen in my lifetime, that seems to be a true statement. The Pentagon said it was not currently planning to withdraw its roughly 2,500 troops from Iraq, despite Baghdad's announcement last week it would begin to process the removing of U.S.-led military coalition from the country. Right now, I am not aware of any plans to plan for withdrawal. We continue to remain very focused on the defeat of ISIS, which was created by America, by the way, because, you know, the matter of fact that it even has that name. It makes me wonder if they even refer to themselves as that, because you're not going to get a bunch of Ishmaelites to woman worship and call themselves after a white, Greek goddess, you know. But it says Air Force Major General Patrick Ryder told the news briefing using the acronym for Islamic State. He added that the U.S. forces are in Iraq at the invitation of its government. All right, and ISIS, you know, I once heard an Israeli Mossad agent, or what intelligence officer say, Israeli Secret Intelligence Service. You know, that was the first ISIS that I knew of. But anyway, right now I am. It says Ryder said he was also unaware of any notification by Baghdad to the Department of Defense about the decision to remove U.S. troops, and referred reporters to the U.S. State Department for any diplomatic discussions on the matter. All right, let's get back into the scriptures. Okay? Because the Lord said, what if it already be kindled? That's Luke 12 and 49. But let's go to 2 Ezra 16. And start at verse 33. And it reads, the virgins shall mourn, having no bridegrooms, and the women shall mourn, having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. In the wars, their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine. So this war is going to deplete the women, you know, of their husbands, and and their men. And all you guys that go off from the north, that go off to go to this place, you're not coming back. You're not coming back. It's prophecy. Jump up to verse 37. Behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack. And when a woman with child in 9 months bring forth her son, 2 or 3 hours of her at her birth pains compass her womb, which pains when the child cometh forth, the slack. They slack not a moment. Even so shall the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. O my people, hear my word. Make you ready to thy battle, and those evils be as pilgrims upon the earth. So, you know, when these things happen, we got to be ready to just pick up and go. All right? And because we don't want to get caught up, you know, in this mess between these nations. Because you basically, the nations are at that point where they're looking at America. Are you now as weak as we? You know, that's how they're looking at it. I think that's in Isaiah the 14th chapter, which is basically Isaiah the 14th chapter, like verses 10 through like 16 is the downfall of the devil, of Satan, the deceiver, right, of Lucifer, the deceiver, which is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. Because it tells you at first it starts off talking about how the Lucifer fall from heaven, subject matter, and then when you get to verse 16 it says, is this the man? All right, so what man is that? The evil seed. 3 classes of men: the sons of God, who are the Israelites here on earth in the flesh, all right, Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and our scattered people that are scattered among the other nations. All right, then you have the Gentiles, simply the other nations, and then you have the sons of the wicked, who are Esau, Edom, who primarily make up the so-called white people. All right, except for our people that are scattered among them. And then what other heathens are scattered among them, because Esau mixed his seed all over the place. But he's been the dominating force in the earth the last 500 years and some change. Okay? So now let's go over to this other article with Vladimir Putin from the Express. And it says, Vladimir reveals new enemy as world wakes up to major escalation and conflict. So this is Ezekiel the 38th chapter coming to life. All right. The Russian autocrat claims war against his new enemy has been centuries in the making. Yeah. All right. Says President Vladimir Putin has claimed that the West is the real enemy as his invasion of Ukraine approaches its second anniversary. The former KGB operative, who is seeking re-election in March, claimed forces in the Western countries, including the U.S. and Britain, were working to destroy Russia's statehood and providing weapons to Ukraine to ensure the world's largest country suffered a strategic defeat on the battlefield. And that's absolutely true. Anyone who had eyes to see it. That's why NATO and its countries kept surrounding and putting themselves, on the front steps and on the back steps and on the side of the house, of Russia. You have to look at it like this, man. If you had an enemy, all right, and every time you go to walk out your front door, your enemy has men on the sidewalk in front of your house. When you go to throw out your trash, he has men in the alley by the trash cans where you throw out your trash. All right. And then they also move into the houses on your left and right side. They've surrounded you. And that's basically what America has done, while trying to downplay the fact that that is exactly what they've done and expecting no retaliation. And then China saw that as a threat too, because if Russia falls, that's the only thing between them. And so why do you think they got together? But it's all prophecy. All right. All these things had to happen. All right. So let's get Ezekiel, the 38th chapter. Okay, because this thing is not holding up, man. It's not holding back. It's going full forward, man. The micro C hip is already here, and Jacob's trouble is in its beginning stages. World War III is going on. Now you just gotta wait to everything to escalate to the epic point to where the C hip of the chaos, like in Ecuador right now, is happening everywhere in the West, and the C hip will be the way to restore peace. All right, and that's exactly what they're gonna try to do, and that's in Revelation the 13th chapter, like verse 16 to the end. All right, when they begin to enforce what millions of people already have. See, right now it's voluntary. They're going to, as the world is pretty much going all the way digital. In order for this digital thing to work, they have to control it and control the people and be able to locate and track the people so that they can control all purchases, so that they can tax people properly and et cetera, et cetera. All right, and if you don't do that, you won't be able to participate in this new thing. And the scriptures clearly say in Job, when they're about to fill their belly. So we're here. We are here. This is more than likely the year. Yahweh Ratazah, because it sure looked like it. Okay? Because these little skirmishes are going to turn. Eventually, that wrong Jenga piece is going to be moved, and the arrows are going to start flying from one end of the earth to the other. That's what this is leading up to. But this is Ezekiel 38. And 1. And I'm going to read down to verse 8 and pretty much wrap it up. And it says, "And the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog and the land of Magog, and the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him." Because the Lord is not with Putin either. He's with Putin to the point where he wants for Putin to finish the mission that the prophecy has put forth for him to do. But outside of that, Vladimir Putin and the rest of the Edomites in Russia, they're going to go into captivity as well after they defeat the West, because they're going to win. It's probably they're going to be winning, and then Yahushua is going to come, and everything's going to change. But it says, "Son of man, set thy face against Gog and Magog, and the Gog in the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him." All right, because the Lord referring to that land is that even though it's Edomites in that land ruling over it, in that portion of Asia, the Lord's referring to it, to the land that he appointed it to in the beginning. He's not respecting the man-made lines that Edom has done by removing and changing, you know, all the lines and the names of the people, etc., their borders. All right. And I will turn thee back and put hooks in thy nose, put hooks in thy jaw, and will bring thee forth and all that army and horses and horsemen, and all them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. When we go back to this picture, with the dragons of Arabia displaying their armor, their power, going under that victory arch with those two swords crossing. All right. Persia, Ethiopia, Libya, with them, all of them with shield and helmet. And that's exactly what's happening. That's exactly what's happening. It's spot on. Gomer and all his bands in the house of Togarmah and the north quarters and all his bands, and many people with thee. Be thou prepared and prepare thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be a guard unto them. See, so they're going to be a guard. Russia's going to be a guard unto these men that we're looking at, the dragons of Arabia, which have assembled and come together and stopped fighting each other and are coming together against white superiority, against the Edomite hegemony in the Western Asia. All right. To be prepared, be thou prepared and prepare thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be a guard unto them. After many days thou shalt be visited. In the latter years thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword, and gather out of many people against the mountains of Israel, which have been always waste, but is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them. So the end of this is that Yahushua is going to come. You can get that in that's in 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter. When this war goes full blown to the point where we're speaking of, Yahushua is going to come back and put an end to all powers and principalities and governments, and all that remain of them are going to go into chains. All right. So our salvation is nearer than when we thought. We still got a lot to suffer. All right. But just know that the victory is already written, and we're at the end of the movie. We're at the end of the book. All right. So with that, all praises, go and honor be unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakak Wadash, Kwam Yasharala, Shalom.